morning, friends. It's Carrie from the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and I'm joining you today from the Sam L. Cohen Children's Room in downtown Portland. Today, we're going to learn about a little science and a little stories about snow. So even though it's actually really warm today in Portland, it is November, and snow's gonna happen. We had a little tiny bit a couple weeks ago, but I thought today would be a really good day to read some stories about snow. So we have a folk tale and fairy tale about snow, and we have some nonfiction books. And I wanted to start out reading a book called Rabbit's Snow Dance. And this book is a story, it's told by James and Joseph Bruschak, and it's illustrated by Jeff Newman. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the authors and a little bit about this book. So James and Joseph Bruschak are American Indian, Slovak, and English ancestry. And the Bruschaks are from the Abenaki tribe, which is in the Adirondack Mountains in New York State. And Joseph's sister Margaret and his sons, James and Jesse, they work in the preservation of the Abenaki culture and traditions and traditional skills and music, and they also perform with a group called the Dawnland Singers. And here in Maine, our Maine tribes are collectively known as the Wabanaki people, and that means people of the Dawnland, because in Maine, we see the sun come up first here. It's where the dawn arrives. And the tribes in Maine are the Maliseet, the Micmac, the Passamaquoddy, and the Penobscot. So they're all collectively known as the Wabanaki people. So it's the Maliseet, the Micmac, the Passamaquoddy, and the Penobscot. And we just want to take a minute before we read this story to acknowledge that the land that we're on in Portland is land that was stolen from those people a long time ago. But they still live here in our state, some of them do. And they still have thriving cultures and traditions and songs and stories. And Joseph Bruschak, he is a Native person who takes traditional stories and writes them and shares them with people, with his family, and with all of us. And he found this story in many different Native traditions. And the one that's told in this story is from the Iroquois people, but he said he actually found this story as well in the Seneca, Mohawk, and Algonquin tribes. So many stories, traditional stories, come from many different traditions, and they get passed down by oral tradition, and now they get passed down in books that we can all share. And so this book in particular is about snow, and it has a fun phrase that we can all say together, and it's about being okay with having enough, and about Rabbit and how Rabbit got to look like Rabbit looks today. So we're going to start with Rabbit's Snow Dance by James and Joseph Bruschak, illustrated by Jeff Newman. And this book is a Dial Books for young readers. That's who it's published by, Dial Books. Long ago, they say, Rabbit did not look the way rabbits do today. Back then, Rabbit had a very long, beautiful tail. But even though his tail was long, his patience was short. Whenever Rabbit wanted something, he would chant, I want it, I want it, I want it right now. One day, Rabbit was wishing it would snow. Why? Well, with feet so big they were like snowshoes, Rabbit could hop right to the top of the snow and reach much higher into the trees for tasty leaves and buds. The only problem was it was summertime, and as everyone knows, it is not supposed to snow in the summer. Rabbit, though, was impatient. I want snow, he said. I want it, I want it, I want it right now. Rabbit knew a special song to make it snow. In the winter, he would sing the song and dance in a circle playing his drum, and it would snow every time. He had never tried it in the summer because that was not the right season for a snow song. Rabbit did not want to wait. He ran through the forest to get his drum, chanting, "I will make it snow, Azakana po. I will make it snow, Azakana po." Azakana po? The word means it will snow foot wrappers, great big flakes of snow. Can you see? We got somebody already hiding up in the tree. Can you tell who that is from their tail? So, when the other animals heard Rabbit singing, some of them got worried. Chipmunk and Squirrel tried to stop him. "It is too soon for snow," they said. "We haven't finished gathering enough nuts for the winter." But Rabbit ran right past them and kept on chanting, "I will make it snow, Azakana po. I will make it snow, Azakana po." Beaver and Turtle looked up from the pond as Rabbit ran by. "I haven't finished my dam," Beaver complained. "I am not ready to go to sleep for the winter," Turtle said. But Rabbit ran past them too, still chanting. Other animals heard Rabbit, but they did not believe him. "That will never happen," Moose rumbled. "Making it snow in the summer is almost as hard as stopping the snow from coming up," Bear growled. Soon, Rabbit reached his home. He took out his drum and began to sing his snow song as he danced in a circle. "Ee-yo, thump, thump, ee-yo, thump, thump, yo, 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 yo." Small flakes of snow began to fall from the sky. That made Rabbit happy. But there was not enough snow yet for him to reach the tender buds in the branches above him. "A little snow is good," Rabbit said. "More snow is better. Ee-yo, thump, thump, ee-yo, thump, thump, yo, 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 yo." All over the forest, animals saw the snow falling. The ones with big wide feet, like lynx and otter and grouse, were pleased. They liked the snow and enjoyed playing in it. They even sang along. "Ee-yo, thump, thump, ee-yo, thump, thump, yo, 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 yo." Now the snow was so deep that it came up to the chests of the bigger animals. They all rushed for shelter. Soon Rabbit was able to reach those tender buds on the trees, but he was not satisfied. "If a lot of snow is good, then a lot more snow will be better," he thought. So he kept on singing. All of the animals had left to find shelter, but Rabbit was too foolish to stop. He just kept on singing and dancing and playing his drum. When the snow had gotten so deep that it covered the tops of all but one of the tallest trees, Rabbit realized he was tired. He stopped singing. "I think I need to take a nap," he said. He hopped into the top of that one tall tree that had still stuck out above the snow, and he fell asleep. Rabbit slept all night. Even when dawn came, he kept on sleeping. Now the summer sun began to shine. All of that snow began to melt. It melted down to the tops of the trees. It melted down to the middle of the trees. It melted down to the bushes. It melted down below the grass. Look, there's Rabbit. Still there with the long tail. Soon, all of the snow was gone. The other animals were happy. They came out again and began to do all the things animals do in the summer. Rabbit, though, was still asleep, high up in the top of the tallest tree. Finally, near the end of the day, he woke up. "Time to hop around on all my snow," Rabbit said. He had not yet wiped the sleep from his eyes. He didn't see that the snow was gone. So when he stepped from the top of the tree, he got a big surprise. "Ah!" Rabbit fell, and he fell. That long tail of his caught on one branch after another. Each time, a little bit was pulled off. Finally, kaboom! Rabbit hit the ground. His tail felt funny. He turned back to check it and saw that almost all of that long tail was gone. He looked up. Pieces of his tail were stuck on the tips of the tree branches. Ever since then, at the time of year when the snow goes away, you can see those little flurry pieces of rabbit's tail stuck on certain trees. Some call them pussy willows, but those who know about rabbit snow dance know what they really are. To this day, Rabbit has a short tail, and even though he still loves the snow, he has learned to be more patient. He no longer sings his snow song in the summertime. However, during the colder months, if you keep an open ear toward the forest, you might just hear a small voice singing this song. E-yo, thump, thump, e-yo, thump, thump, yo, 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 yo. When you hear that, you'd better head for home. Soon it will begin to snow. The end. That was a fun story, wasn't it? About being patient and about how different seasons bring different things. And often in the autumn and the winter, especially here in places like Maine, we get snow. So next, we're going to read a book called It's Snowing. And this one is by Gail Gibbons. And again, this is a nonfiction book because it has letters. It has letters and numbers. I did want to show you this book. It's from our Folktales and Fairy Tales collection. That's why it says JF, Juvenile Folktales, and it has the author's last name, Bruschak. And if you ever want to know how to pronounce an author's name, many authors now have pronounced their names on the internet. So you can look up sites where they say their names out loud and you can learn how to pronounce them. Joseph Bruschak said that in Slovakia, where his father's family's from, it would be pronounced differently. But here, because they live in the United States, it's pronounced Bruschak. So this one is called It's Snowing. It's Snowing by Gail Gibbons. And this book is a Holiday House book. That's who it's published by, Holiday House. Small, soft flakes fall quietly from above. It's snowing. It is cold and winter clouds fill the sky. Clouds form when water evaporates from rivers, lakes, and oceans, then rises up and cools. Clouds are made up of billions and billions of droplets of water floating in the air. You see in this book, it has lots of little information that we won't read during our story time today. But when you get nonfiction books, it often tells you a lot more about the science. As the air gets colder, the droplets of water freeze. Several frozen droplets join together to form an ice crystal. Yep. And ice crystals come in many shapes and designs. So there's a page that shows us the different types of ice crystals. Ice crystals of all shapes and sizes float into one another and join together to create a snowflake. Soon, more and more ice crystals attach themselves, making the snowflake larger. When snowflakes get large and heavy enough, they fall from the clouds. It's snowing! Scientists believe that no two snowflakes look exactly alike. Each one appears to be different in design, shape, and size from all other snowflakes. Snowflakes almost always have 6 sides or 6 points. Snow most often falls in places where winters are cold, but it can snow in places where winters are usually warm. And there's a map, and this is a map of the United States, and if we go all the way up here, we find ourselves in Maine, and that is a place that is cold, and we get snow. And it shows all the different places where it can snow. Some more usual to get snow than others. We say it's snowing when there is a steady snowfall. There are snow flurries when it snows lightly and for short periods of time. Snow flurries can start and stop, and then start and stop again. It is sleeting when snowflakes partly melt as they fall and then freeze again before they hit the ground. Sleet can be dangerous. It can be slippery outside. There is a snowstorm when a lot of snow falls. It may be windy. It can snow for hours. It can even snow for days. Snow covers the ground. And in Maine, we certainly get snow where it snows for hours and sometimes even days. A blizzard happens when lots and lots of snow falls. The wind is howling. The snow is drifting. There can be whiteouts. Blizzards can be dangerous. And we've had those in Maine too. Sometimes you'll look out the window and you won't even be able to see across the yard or the parking lot or the street. It's blowing so fast and so hard. Meteorologists often warn about dangerous conditions when a snowstorm or blizzard is approaching. And meteorologists are scientists who study the weather. And that's a nice thing about nonfiction books, is it gives you definitions to words that maybe you've never heard before. People are told to stay close at home. Schools and businesses may close if there's a blizzard coming. And so it explains a little more about what you might hear on the radio or on TV about a winter storm watch, a storm warning, a blizzard warning. A watch means that it could be coming in 12 to 36 hours. A warning means that it's going to come, and a blizzard warning means that you're going to get a blizzard. After big storms, there's a lot of work to be done. Snowplows push snow off the roads and highways. Walkways are shoveled. People bundle up to stay warm and dry when they go outside. Kids build snow people and snow forts. We have lots of good books about the trucks and the different things that go out when it snows, like Katie and the Big Snow, which is one of my favorite books. Swish! Some people go skiing and snowboarding. Sleds and toboggans slide down hillsides. Some children make snow angels. Others take long walks in the countryside. It is beautiful and peaceful all around. And you have snowboards and skis, and I think I even saw some snowshoes. Yep, snowshoes, which people in Maine really like to do. And sleds and toboggans, ice hockey. Look, even the dog is rolling around. Snow can be helpful in many ways. It acts like a huge blanket that protects plants and wildlife. As the snow melts, water trickles into rivers and streams. It also seeps into the ground where plants will grow when warmer weather returns. Look all around. The snow is beautiful. There's how it works. There's people enjoying it. And then it has a page that says how to stay warm outside. Layers of lightweight clothing. So hats, scarf, puffer coats, earmuffs, jackets, gloves, mittens, hoods, snowsuits, and how to be prepared if there's a snowstorm coming. So you can look at all of that. Once again, this is a nonfiction book, so there's lots of information for us. Yep. And you can look at snowflakes up close. It shows you how to do that with some black paper and a magnifying glass. And then, again, in the back, snow, snow, and more snow. It tells us all sorts of great information about snow. So thank you to Gail Gibbons. It's snowing. So friends, there are lots of other great books in the library about snow. This one's called Snow Amazing, Cool Facts and Warm Tales. And this is by Jane Drake and Ann Love, and art by Mark Thurman. And as you can see, this book has lots of information. So this might be for like an older friend of yours or a sibling, or for a grown-up to read for you. But it has lots of really cool pictures and tales in it. And this one is so cool. This one is called The Secret Life of a Snowflake, an up-close look at the art and science of snowflakes. And it has some really cool pictures in it. And this is a book by Kenneth Lebrecht, and it is published by Voyager Press. And what scientists have done is they have used microscopes to take pictures of real snowflakes. So that is not a drawing. That is a picture, a photograph of a snowflake. And it shows you all about snowflakes. So there are some on trees. Look, if you look close, you can see all the individual bits. And remember, in our last book, we read that they're all different, but that they usually each have 6 points or 6 sides. And there is a picture of the scientist who is photographing these snowflakes, and it all explains how they did it. So isn't that amazing? You could grow up to be a scientist who goes out into the winter and studies snowflakes. And they've learned a lot about water and design. And this shows how tiny snowflakes can be compared to a penny. So imagine if that was as small as a penny, how tiny those snowflakes could be. And snowflakes are clear, but they're colorful. I mean, this book has so much great information, and it talks about the changing states of water like we talked about in our last book. And see, these are hexagons. It talks about the different shapes and the way that they grow. One of the neatest photography science experiments that I've ever seen when I lived in Portland, Oregon, which is Portland on the other side of the country, was scientists who thought good thoughts and said good words into water and then froze it. And then they had sad, upset thoughts and words into water and they froze it. And they saw that the words, the water that they froze made snowflake crystals. So water turns into crystals. It made crystals that were beautiful symmetrical shapes. And the water that they had the sad, angry, upset thoughts that they turned into ice crystals had very erratic, jaggedy, not beautiful concentric shapes. And they learned a lot about how the energy of our thoughts and our emotions go out into the world, and they go out into everything around us. So we talked a couple weeks ago about mindfulness and meditation and taking our pause and taking our deep breath. So when we study nature and science, we can see that all of those emotions are energy and they're all around us. And the more we can learn how to send positive, good thoughts and energy out into the world and into ourselves, they've actually seen that it has a real positive, beautiful impact. So anyway, that's just an interesting connection between science and meditation and snow. So anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the books, some of the pictures in this beautiful book, because they are just really amazing and a whole new form of science. So one last one I'll leave you with. So this one, again, is called The Secret Life of a Snowflake, and it's by Dr. Lebrecht. Thank you all so much for joining me today to learn a little bit more about snow, and a book by Gail Gibbons about snowing, and a folk tale called Rabbit's Snow Dance by James and Joseph Bruschak. And when it does snow, you can go outside, you put on your hats and your scarf and your coat and your mittens and your snow pants and your boots and all those things, and you can go outside and you can, what were some of the things they said in the book we could do? Sledding, making snow people, snowballs, ice skating, and snow angels. Those are just some of the things that you could do. So hopefully we'll have some really fun snow this winter and you'll all be able to get out and enjoy it. And you'll know a little bit more about the snow and how it happens and how snowflakes are made, and about the water cycle and all things snow. Thanks again for joining me, Carrie, here at the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and we'll see you next time.